Hello there, and welcome to the Coach and Profit Giveaway, where 31 experts are sharing visibility, marketing, and business strategies for making six figures and more in your coaching business so that you can grow, leverage, and scale. I'm your host, Stephanie Treasure, the host of this event. I'm a marketing strategist and business coach, and I'm thrilled to bring this interview series with you, to you, with our valued sponsors who have helped to make this event possible. So today I have the pleasure of speaking with my friend and colleague, expert event strategist, mentor, and planner, Linda Cain. And we're going to be giving you a preview into her valued resource, the Profitable Events, the Complete Guide. So let me share with you a little bit about what Linda is up to and what she's about. So that you can get familiar with her and be able to see the kind of expertise and years of experience that she's bringing to the table, and that she has tried to, succinctly put it together for you in the Profitable Events Complete Guide. So Linda is all about events, whether live, virtual, hybrid, retreats. Having a full event business strategy is key to determining engagement, profitability, and the success of your events. Over 25 years, a diverse background planning domestic and international events, you are in the best hands with Linda and her team. Her team are all about heart, relationship, calm under pressure while handling all the details. A who's who Rolodex in the transformational and coaching event industry. Linda loves to connect her clients with opportunities and supports her clients with top advice and strategy. And mapping out your full event driven business strategy is Linda's zone of genius. So, hello and welcome again, Linda.
Oh, Stephanie, it's always such a pleasure to be here. I love what you have created and birthed in this
Oh,
online summit space. It's just been such a pleasure to watch your growth and this amazing summit that you're doing. And it just keeps getting better and better every time you do it. And I'm just so honored to be part of it.
oh, thank you so, so much. And I really appreciate your support. You share my passion for bringing great events to the table, and with that, so many can benefit from. And I appreciate your support in coming on board as a sponsor and bringing this resource in the hands of the people that are joining this event, that I know will find it highly valuable as they look to grow their business and take it to their first or next six figures.
Mhm.
So tell us, what is one thing that you are working on this year that you are truly excited about that we can look forward to?
Oh, I have I have stepped out into doing more training and coaching on events and what it takes to have a profitable event business and to have uh, I call it a profitable event driven business. So it's how are you using events, whether it's retreats, virtual, hybrid, in person, destinations, whatever it is that you want to create, and how that's going to look, and how we map that out for the whole year so that you can maximize your visibility, maximize your community, and also maximize events for that in profit. So I've been doing a lot more of that and I love it. Of course, our event side of the business, we have been producing a lot of really wonderful events, and we shifted our focus a little bit last year to go back and reach out to some of our corporate clients and tapping back into the corporate space as well as serving coaches, on authors, speakers, and entrepreneurs. So we've got some chiropractors, some healthcare practitioners, insurance companies, real estate. And so I love that because I love to have my hands in all the different modalities and all the different kinds of events that people are doing. And the reason I love that is because I can bring all that to my coaches, authors, and speakers where my passion really lays with.
Mm, I love that. And you and I were talking a little bit before we went live here on this video, and I really love how creative you can be in
Mm.
terms of how you're making the events experience enjoyable, fun, high value for your clients, whether or
Yeah.
not they're in person or virtual or hybrid of the two. It's really amazing with the technology, and I'm sure with the experience that you and your team bring to the table in supporting your corporate and coaching and consulting clients. So I'm really excited to see all that you're creating. I know that you're working on an event of your own this
Yeah,
year, and yeah, lots of stuff happening.
excited.
And I am going to encourage as we go through, when we get to the end of this interview, I'm going to be encouraging our viewers and listeners to be sure that they get in your space because you and your team really are leading the charge as it relates to events-driven business, which is really highly valuable for bringing for fulfilling your programs. So
Hmm.
yeah, thank you so much for all that you're doing and sharing that with us. So
Yeah.
we have thousands of people that will be joining this event. Many of them at various stages of their of growth, various stages of their business and their journey, and wearing a myriad of hats. And what I want to ask you to share is what's one valuable lesson that you've learned that you believe all coaches and the business owners joining us should know?
Oh, wow. I honestly think the most valuable lesson that I've learned is to do it. Not hold back, not be afraid, ask. Ask, ask, ask. Ask for help. If you see somebody who's doing an event that's similar to what you want to do and you want to know how they did it, just ask or find a planner to ask and not be afraid to just take that. We get held up by our own the little guys that sit on our shoulder, right? You can't do that. Yes, you can. No, I can't. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
I'm too afraid. No, you're not. Yes, I am. You
Oh
know,
yes.
and it's not perfect. Doesn't have to be. Yes, it does. So all those things that go through our head, and we just have to push that aside. If you're really passionate about doing something, and I'm so passionate about events, it still is today, and as it has been for the last 30 years that I've been in events, having an event is the quickest and fastest path to cash. It's the quickest way to build your authority, your visibility, make connection, bring people around you. And it's the quickest way for profits. If you want to make an extra, $1,000, you can do a workshop and, for 297 and fill it, with just a handful of people. If you want to do a retreat weekend, you can price that, work up your costs and give yourself $1,000 more, but put 10 people in the room for the weekend and you've made extra $10,000. And, we can show you how to quadruple, triple, or, 100x that. But it's just that initial get going. I think that if we would all just let go of any fear, trepidation, anything that is holding us back, and just go ahead and try things and do it, then I don't know about you, but when I do something, I'm like, that wasn't that hard. Why didn't I do that before? Maybe it was
Yeah.
maybe it was a learning curve or it was time, took some time or whatnot, but it wasn't that hard. And so
Yeah.
that would be the biggest thing. My biggest lesson is and for myself, is just doing it, just getting out there and asking for the support. And you don't always have to pay for support. That's another misnomer. Ask for support, joint venture with people or collaborate and just get it out so that your passion isn't held and your mission isn't hiding.
Yeah, yeah, right. And bridled and prevented from becoming what it could have been, right?
Mhm.
That's such pointed and valuable advice. There's many things that we dream about and or harp on, and we're saying, if this or if that, and stay on the sidelines instead of daring and venturing to try. And like you said, sometimes when you do finally pull the trigger, if you get there, you realize that you are building this thing up too much, and if you end up being on the other side of it, it doesn't have to be even a raving success, but just how
Yep.
much you grow by trying something that takes you out of your comfort zone. You'd be surprised how much you can, how much makes you a better person, more resilient,
Yeah.
a better business
Bob,
owner, and how much you
Bob
can achieve.
Proctor, Bob Proctor always talked about like put yourself back as a child. And when we were kids, we get on the bike, we'd fall off, we get right back on and try it again, fall off, get right back on, try it again, keep going, right? And so as entrepreneurs, especially, I think that's part of being adulting is getting back on, trying it. It's not going to work overnight. You're not going to, you can get lucky, put something out and have 100 people, hundreds of people sign up, but building that repeatable process to where you're going to get the win every time and creating something that can be repeatable and turn into residual for you is the where we get stuck in our head, and we feel like we have to do it the way the big gurus say, and we have to have big
Mhm.
funnels and all that stuff. And really and truly, you don't. It's just you have to find your path, and each of our paths are uniquely different,
Yeah.
which is the beauty of it, because then you can create, I always say, create your own stage your own way.
Mm.
And whether it is virtual or in person, whether it's workshops or retreats or big events, just get to the creating and get to the doing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And I'm glad you shared that because, this event, as you know, the Coach and Profit giveaway is where I brought yourself and as well as 30 other experts to share their top strategies, visibility, marketing, and business that can help you to get to six figures. And we know
Mhm.
that first incline, right? How it can be rocky. It's filled with a lot of pivots and uncertainty, and it's that hurdle that seems out of reach for the entrepreneur, the coach that's watching this. That's not there yet. They haven't made their first six figures.
Yeah.
So, what is one strategy or mindset shift that you can share with us that supported you to take your business to your first six figures? And of course, I know you've scaled way past that, but what has kept you going forward as have gone into territories that's way ahead of that now?
So I think the biggest thing, Stephanie, for me is that looking back is I always had this like fire in my belly that I just wanted to keep doing it and perfecting it, and how can I do it better, and watching what other people were doing, and how could I, does that fit for me and my clients, or and if it did, then how can I make it our own, and how can I make it our own process and things that we would do for our clients. And again, it goes to the ask. So asking clients, how was the experience? What would you improve? What would you like to see different? What did you expect that maybe you didn't get? Or what did we over deliver on that you weren't expecting? And just having those kind of conversations. But for the entrepreneur that's just getting started and hasn't really, is wondering what they can do. I always go back to events and I think about our clients who started there, who are now high six, seven figure clients who started 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, with just putting five, six people in a room in a co-work space that didn't cost them very much money, charge, like $1,000, $1,500 to have them come and spend the weekend with them, and workshopping their event or workshopping their, like, for example, you could teach people your summit model and bring people into a room and teach that summit model and show them how they can make this repeatable process that you've made in the summits, because you do it different than other people are doing summits out there. And you have a very unique way of doing it. There's a couple other ladies that also are doing their summits just a little different than the average person, and they're having great results because they're doing it their way. They're doing it from their heart, from their way. And you could teach that and bring, people in even virtually, for, five 997 for, a weekend for 2.5 day summit training, and actually get their summit basics like the outline and the setup, and maybe get like some of it done to where they're ready to actually leave and go work on it. And then you can sell them into a high ticket.
Mhm.
So just thinking, so if you're brand new, just start thinking in those terms, have that mindset shift, that mindset shift, whatever it is, just change your mind. Just try it. It's like, think about how you would teach what it is that you're passionate about, how you would show people how to put that in a process that could be repeatable for them. Or, for example, Cindy does her book coaching in a weekend. So when you come to her book coaching in a weekend, you actually walk away with the outline done,
Mm.
and the first chapter kind of mapped, and so the theme is done, the outline is done, and the first chapter is mapped out and started on, so that the voice is there, and so you know if you're talking third person, first person, or storytelling. And so when you leave that event, you're very well positioned that you're not going to fail to get that book out, because you are given the tools to be able to do that. And then of course she makes an offer for you to continue working with her, and which, you could do, I can do, any of us can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's not being worried about like I have to have 100 people in the room. Start with three, four, five, six.
Yeah.
And and you I'm not really fond of the beta term test, but that's actually what you're doing. But you don't have to tell people it's a beta. You don't have to tell them it's your first one. You just say, I'm looking for 6 people to join me.
Yeah.
And
Med setting.
and
Hmm.
intimate group, 6 people.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, it does, once you start doing whatever it is, when you start doing it, then like I said, you realize it wasn't that hard. But what you do is you're testing it, and then you do it again and test it again, and then you do it again, and then all of a sudden your process shows up.
Yeah.
So like when we first started doing events, I didn't know how to I didn't know. People would say, can you read the room? I don't, what is read the room? Yeah, there's like 24 people sitting here. What else do you want to know? I, what do you mean read the room? Read the room comes from knowing the energetics, understanding the energetics of the room. Are the people happy? Are they sitting there bored? Are they all on their laptop? Are they all down on their phone? What are they doing reading the room? What's the energetics? Is the host hitting the points? Is the host hitting their hearts? Can you see from the reactions in the room how the message is hitting them, how the information is hitting them? Are they responding? Are they moving forward? That's reading the room.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people understand that and can do that. Once we kind of figured that out, then it was like, okay, now we know how to help our host, but we also know how to help the people in the room. So when
Mm-hmm.
there's a break, we're able to like, how was that session for you? What did you learn? What was your biggest takeaway? Are you stuck? And when we hear people are like, oh, I don't know, my head's exploding, we tell our hosts, you just exploded their heads. You might need to come back after break and recap
Mm.
and reset
Yes.
them,
Yes.
you know, and finish them off because they left with their heads explode, right?
Yeah.
So just things like that. And you don't know that till you get in and try it. And we didn't know that till we started observing and doing
Right.
more and more events with coaches and authors and speakers and transformational leaders. We had corporate down pat. We could do corporate in our sleep. But when we
Mm-hmm.
transitioned over and I wanted to start working with coaches and authors, it's a different animal and they play a different game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So test it out, you know?
Yeah. And
Does it
that
make sense?
comes back to your advice about just doing it. Really,
Mhm.
some things some hurdles, you're only gonna get over it once you actually
Yeah,
go through the hurdle, go through the learning curve. And I love your advice that just start small, start
mhm.
intimate. And it doesn't have to mean that you don't have to tell people that you're beta testing,
Right, right.
but it is a test. And as you continue to do it more and more, then you get a
Yeah,
feel for what works, what your audience responds to, what tweaks to make in your offer, how to make tweaks in your pitch, etc.
yeah,
That can
yeah.
really help you to achieve better results.
And let's say you're that high 6, 7-figure person and you're solid. You've got a business, you're making, good money and you're hitting pushing toward the 7 figures. You might be in a place where you want to do something a little different, or you want to take what you're doing and change it up a little bit or add something to it. Again, it comes back to, don't feel like you're stuck in the 7-figure business that you've created. Make it so that somebody can help take it over, develop your team, scale it to where you're
Yeah.
not just the only person in the business.
Mm,
And 'cause there are a lot of people who are making high 6 and 7 figures, but they're still just working with a VA and they don't have big teams. They haven't
yeah.
scaled. So take the opportunity to learn how to scale, to figure out how to scale that. So then you can maybe do a passion project, or, philanthropy or something charitable, or start a new stream of something that you now, become newly impassioned about.
Mm, mm,
Molly Mahoney is a very good example of that, because she started in performance, then went to her, video, and then she started Chat GPT. Well, she started doing AI back with Jasper,
Mm.
a really old tool. And now she's just like off into AI land and figuring out how to talk to it and create it and show you how to, maximize it. But she still has her foundational business of working with coaches and showing them about video and
Yeah.
content creation and how they can. Sorry, we have little baby dogs. I don't know if you can hear that. Um, they're getting
It's good
breakfast.
that I don't hear it, but I'm happy that you said it because I remember on a previous meeting that you said that you raise
We
dogs.
raise Pomeranians. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We
So
we raise and breed
kudos to
we
that
raise
too.
and breed Pomeranians. That's one of my side gigs. So
Right. And because of the team that you've built,
yeah.
as you're walking your talk, it allows you to be able to do these other things. I remember we even said before we went again before we hit record, guys, a lot of happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You were saying that, some of the events that you're hosting, you can kind of have your team manage it and take care of it
Yeah.
without you being there so that you
Yeah.
can get a chance to, whether it
So
means traveling
wonderful.
across the country or something else that fills your
Yeah.
heart.
And it's so fun to get to that point too. It's I'll be honest, everyone, it's scary to hand a client off to a team. It is. Those of us that are creative, we're a little bit control freaks. It is. We
Mm,
just and it's not that we don't think anybody can do what we do. It's just we have such a way of doing it. We want it to be perfect. We want it to be, and we feel it comes from feeling, not from knowledge,
mm,
that we feel like our client always wants us there. But what
mm.
I've learned is if you have a team, the client benefits so much from having them have conversations with team in the areas that the team are experts in.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't always have to come from you as the leader. It can come, I've got like my team will meet with our clients on different things. When they're creating swag, I've got someone on my team that does that for them and orders and gives them ideas and walks them through that. And then they come back to me, what do I think? And I can sign off on it. But,
Yeah.
just empowering yourself and empowering the people that you're working with.
Yeah, yeah, love it. Thank you so, so much for that advice. And I want to dive into what you've made available for us, for those that
Mm.
are joining in the giveaway here. You've brought together the Profitable Events Complete Guide. Now, tell us what we can find in here and how, it can benefit those listening who are now like, yes, I need to jump into doing
Yeah.
events. Share with us what's in it.
So what we've done is we've broken down what we consider to be the four main type of events. There's retreats and destinations. There's the 3-day enrollment program where you're bringing people in with the sole purpose of selling them into your high ticket offer. And then there's um, virtual events, and then there's hybrid events. Hybrid events are where you have some people are in person with you, and everybody else is viewing from the live stream. And when you do, and we break those down so that you can decide which model is best for you. And especially if you're first starting out, what kind should you be doing? And it might be like virtual and a retreat, or it might be a 3-day enrollment and a couple virtuals, or it might be just, every quarter a retreat that you're also selling into, and some are for fun. So that's where mapping out your event driven business comes from, is to how does that look, and what's your financial goal amount for the year, and how can we get you there?
Mm,
And using events as the catalyst. And then there are events that are webinars and seminars and workshops and summits and giveaways and teleclasses and master classes and micro classes. And there's like 20,000 different kinds of events.
yeah,
But what's important is figuring out which ones you resonate best with, because each of us are going to do a different model. We'll
yeah,
be doing events, but we might do challenges or whatever to get to our financial point. And
right.
so we break down those main four events to help you. There's worksheets, there's some questions. It's an easy read. It's a pretty comprehensive document, and I think it's about 50 some pages. And then they can, if they want to have a call with us to dissect it or ask questions, they get a free call. And we don't sell on our calls. That we When we say you get a free call, it's a free call.
Mm,
I believe in just supporting people, because if they want to work with us, they know, I want to work with people, and I know that I want to make money from working with people. So I don't need to have to be constantly like, work with me, pay me, work with me, pay me,
mm,
because I would rather like have a conversation with you and show you what's possible,
yeah,
and then send you on your way. And then if I resonated with you, and we resonated with each other, and we
right.
found some synergy, it'll come back to me. Always does. And that's one of the things that I love about what I've been able to create with my team is we have clients. We started with coaches, authors, and speakers 22 years ago, and we have clients that we still are working with.
Mm,
Now, we haven't maybe worked 22 years in a row with them, but they started with us. They went off to do other things. They came back. They went off to
yeah,
do other things. They came back.
back again. Yes, yes.
And they're back again. And so, and I love it. And then we have clients who have been our clients, and we've been working with them for, 14, 15, 16 years. We repeatable process. It's like, hey, Linda, we're doing this. Great. We know what to do. Boom, 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 boom. And there we go.
Yeah.
So the guide is really great because we're breaking down those four. It gives you a lot of information, and my hope is that people who access it and read it and go through it, if you're sitting on the fence about whether or not you should do an event, I hope that there's enough in there that I believe there's enough in there that would make you say, I'm going to try this. I'm going to call 6 people and get them in a room with me this Saturday,
Yeah.
and just do it. And it will also, for those that are already high earners, that'll give them some ideas, or looking at events maybe in a different way than they have been looking at them, and spur them into some sort of new creative juices.
Love it, love it, love it. So, guys, so once you log on to the giveaway, www.coachingprofitgiveaway.com, you'll be taken to the page that has all the resources for you. In the top 5 spots, you'll find Linda's gift because she's one of our sponsors, and it's called Profitable Events, the Complete Guide. Click on that button, you'll get access. You'll get the download 50 something pages as she mentioned. And I believe in the email that they get,
Mhm.
you'll tell them that they also have an opportunity
Yeah.
to, have a customized call so that they
Yes.
can kind of, get some overview or some feedback from you or your
Mhm.
team as to which event may make sense for them, for their offer,
Mhm.
their business model, and what they're looking to achieve.
Exactly.
That, in terms of their revenue goal.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so
Great.
excited.
Great, great, great. All right. So
Mm.
as we wrap, and I mean, you bring so much expertise to the table as it relates to hosting profitable events or running an events based business or events driven business. What is your advice that you can share with us in terms of, the big mistake or a big
Mhm.
mistake or big mistakes to avoid when you venture down this road? Now you've heard that, wow, hosting an event is great. I definitely want to do this. What is a pitfall that you can kind of caution against for those that are listening so that they can kind of bear this in mind? Possibly, again, book that call with you to find out how they can avoid this in their business if they want to go down this path to make their business more profitable through hosting events.
Oh, wow. Biggest mistakes. Like for me, obviously, the biggest mistake people make is they just don't take that opportunity to do it. They
Hmm.
hold back, and then another year goes by, and another year goes by, and another year goes by, and then they're like, "Wow, I really wish I would have, gone to Italy, or I really wish I would have whatever." And so that's like goes, to mindset and the just doing it, right? But when they are actually in the planning and they're starting the planning, something that I see people do that I feel is a mistake is they feel that they have to have like a huge funnel, or they need a marketer, and so they spend a lot of money in hiring people to help them fill their room.
Mm,
And the honest truth is, even the big rooms come from personal relationship building and connections, collaborations, joint ventures, and building on relationships that you have. That's
mm,
how you really fill the room. It's organic outreach. It's who you know and who knows who you know and who
yes,
knows who they know, right?
yes.
And just tapping into that and not being afraid to ask for support, ask for mailing, ask for, can you invite 10 people, can you invite 3 people, whatever. And really looking now, can a marketer help you? Can running Facebook ads, can doing those things? Yes, but only if you can afford it. Only if you are in that place where you're making good money, and or you can afford to spend the money on the ads. And
Hmm.
a lot of times what has happened is somebody has come to us and they have, you know, paid to be in a huge program or paid with a big marketer, and they're further behind and kind of financially in the, messed up because they lost on their event. They did a in-person event and they had to, their contract at the hotel wasn't written in their favor, and so they were left with a big hotel bill, or they couldn't fill the hotel guest rooms and things like that. So that's one of the things that we really like to look out for people in that, and start small and grow. You can always grow and add to it, but so like I said, the biggest mistake is feeling like you have to hire all these people around you, when really it starts with just those first 6 people in the room. Or if you want to target 100 people, then we do a map, like do a market map, and figure out how many past clients could come, how many bring your friends could come, how
Hmm.
many, do a little ticket map, how many sponsors could you get, how many speakers do you have, could they bring people. Like, don't have a speaker come and speak at your event if they're not going to help you bring some people. The whole reason that they're paying to be there, or you've been invited them to be there, is to give your audience something that they have, and in turn they should help you. They
Yeah,
should bring a few, just like with the summit, the mailing and the things that we do to try to get people to see that we're participating in this.
yeah.
We don't always have success, but that's our job, is to at least do that. And so whenever you're giving up, because when you invite people to be on your stage, you're giving up your audience to
Mm,
those.
yes,
You
yes,
want to make sure that you are, the people that you're inviting to be on your stage or to play with you at your event, equally are in your game. They want to help you succeed, because then they succeed,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So one would be, 3 things. One would be alignment and building relationships so that people are assisting you in filling the room. Number 2 is really knowing your numbers and your budget, and building your event around a true number that's going to give you profit. You can always add, grow, and do more as you get more people signed up, or you have more sponsors coming in and things like that. But know the base cost of what it will really take for you to sell an event, bring people into an event that's going to net you 50K in a weekend. What does
Mm,
that really look like? How many people, where, what are the costs? How much is the team? How much is AV? How much is the location? And really figure that out so that like, if I have 30 people, I can make 50K,
right.
right? And then from there you can grow on that. And then so budget, filling your room with the right people that can help you fill that room, and knowing that it really is your relationships. It's really is the host that fills those rooms. All of the things like, join my program, I'm going to show you how to fill your room. Really, if you go to those, all they're telling you is organic outreach. Do you have a good base? Are you visible?
Mm,
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right?
yeah,
And there are those times, absolutely, when ads and spending money and things like that are good, but typically not when you're first starting out. Um, and then the third thing just goes to knowing what you want to offer. What does that look like? Make sure it's solid. Where are you going to take people after your event? What's the next step? And in that, do you have the support that you need?
mm,
So, and if they do that, if you know your budget, recognize that it's relationships that fill the room, and you've got a good offer, where you're going to take people, and then you're just get in there and do it, you'll have success.
Mm, love it. Thank you so much, Linda. You've shared so much with us. And yeah, I'm sure everybody's listening is like, all right, when, when am I going to have my first or next event, right?
Mhm.
You are so good at this, and you and your team. And again, I thank you for coming on board. I would like for those that are joining us and listening to this interview to know how to stay connected with you. So I'll give you a chance to share your handles and also remind people that once they opt in for the Profitable Events Complete Guide, once you do that, you'll be on Linda's list. So you'll firsthand hear about all that she's doing in terms of the clients that she's working with, what she has coming up that can support and benefit you in your business, as well, of course, the free offer itself, which is so valuable. You definitely want to get a hold of this. So again, log on to coachingprofitgiveaway.com. As soon as you get to the main event page, you'll see Linda's gift there at the top. Download it today and get in the know in terms of what it takes for you to successfully leverage events in order to grow and leverage and scale your business. All right. So, Linda,
Absolutely.
where can folks follow you?
May I just drop it all in the chat here?
Okay. And then I'll check
And
it out for you.
yeah, so our website's there, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, book a call. You can
Yeah.
take that in or take that out. And then text message is always good. I love texting. I'm crazy. Uh, but I do. I really love texting. My team is like, it's in Slack, Linda. I don't like, just text me. No, it's in so, but I don't know, I love texting. I just it's quick, it's fast, and I can, calendar things and I can say no and a yes and go here and
Yeah.
but anyway, but yeah, so the easiest way is just to either text or email. And really the best way is just grab our profitable events, the secret, the
Yeah. And then you'll
complete,
get all her links.
and then you'll get everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So just really quick though, it's eventsbybluediamond.com, eventsbybluediamond.com, because the name of the company is Blue Diamond. That's
Yes.
blue without an E at the end.
Yes. And do you know
Instagram,
why? Do you know why there's no E in the blue? I
tell
love
me.
telling the story. Okay. So Marie Antoinette had the most expensive blue diamond in the world. King
Mm.
Henry gave her a blue diamond, and there was no, because of the French spelling and all of that stuff, there was no E on it. So it was rare, it was priceless. And so when we were trying to figure out the name for our company, we kept coming up with like white glove service, we're unique, we're different, we're rare. And then this thing about blue diamond came up, and I'm like, oh, I love diamonds. So yeah, and blue's my favorite color. So
Oh,
that's how we
nice.
did it. So we left the E off in honor of her beheading. I
Okay.
love her story. She's one of the queens I'm really into history, and I love history
Yeah.
uh, and women in history especially. And
Yeah.
she was one of the queens, young and spunky, and she did a lot for him. He just couldn't see it. She
Mm.
really organized his court. She did a lot of things for him behind the scenes as a woman back then in those days, and he just couldn't see it. And
Yeah.
so yeah. So
And
anyway,
so
it
off
was
with
one of
her.
my favorites. Queen Victoria, and then of course we won't go down to the Bridgerton path, and that's a whole nother
Mm.
conversation.
I hear you. I hear you. So,
So
folks, you can follow her on Instagram at the Linda Cain, on LinkedIn at Blue Diamond, again without the E. Just heard the story on that. And yeah, once you opt in for the Profitable Events Guide, you're gonna get access to all the places where she's hanging out. Definitely get in her space. If you're at the least bit interested or know that it's something that you should at least try, which
mhm,
was her main advice. Just try. You don't have to be married to it. Give it a try. If you after you try, you're like, oh, that's it for me. I don't want to do events. That's fine. You could
yeah,
probably do the Facebook ads or something else. Or you may find that, I like this.
mhm.
And then you want to do more and you go from there. All right. Thank you so much again for
Thank you.
being a
Mwah.
part of this event. Thank you for watching us. And I will see you in the next interview.
Sounds good. Thank you.